2018 for Warframe wasn't exactly a great year in terms of content drops. Business terms, it was great, but for content, not so much. Now, it's only when you read over all of the additions that we got in 2018 that you realise just how one-sided the updates for last year actually were, with the majority of updates seemingly aimed at revenue more than actual gameplay or keeping players around, so the microtransactions, with Tennogen updates seeing double the amount last year than they did the previous year, while also the actual content or gameplay updates to some respects felt a little bit rushed or unfinished to some players in the community, with some game modes not really being touched since they were added into the game. Now, for the purpose of this video, I've gone all the way back to 2015 and separated each update into two categories: content updates and money-driven updates, just to show how 2018 was different to previous years. Now, this doesn't include hotfixes or small patches, just the main updates that dropped multiple items each time, whether it's quests or whether it's Warframe reworks, new Warframes, or the complete weapons pass that they gave us at the start of 2018. Now, please don't take this video as me complaining, because I'm not. I love Warframe, its community, you guys, and everything about it. Fuck, my whole channel is completely dedicated to it. This is just me going over the facts from last year, and I know how sections of the Warframe community really hate when the game sees any kind of a criticism, so just hear me out and listen to what I have to show you or what I have to say. Now, every year Warframe has released roughly 50 to 60 updates, with them more or less being evenly split between content, rough use of that term I know, and money updates, the microtransaction ones, like deluxe skins, unvaultings, prime access, and of course Tennogen as well. Now, it is a free-to-play game, so it needs to survive and it needs to pay the bills and keep the game going, so that's a needed. So of course the microtransactions are needed for that very purpose. Now, for the content side of things, you're talking quests, new game modes, open world areas, but I have also put new Warframes and new weapons in that category. But I know a lot of you don't count new Warframes or new weapons as actual content, which would make the difference between both of these categories even bleaker. So this is the split between each update dating back to 2015. In 2015, we had 35 content drops and 28 microtransaction ones. In 2016, which I believe is the year that Leyu acquired DE, it's 28 to 33 in favour of microtransactions, 33. Now, 2017, it's pretty even at 29 and 30, but in 2018 the focus seems to have shifted, with the content drops only being 21 and the microtransactions being 32. This is most likely because they had put all of their time, all of their eggs into one basket, into making Orb Valis and Fortuna at the end of the year, which is a huge map, much larger than what Plains of Eidolon, and maybe it left them with no manpower for adding other content throughout the year. Now, the microtransactions, from what I can see, were filler updates, or maybe this will become the norm from here on out. Maybe 2019 will see something very similar in that trend, maybe 21 to 30 or something like that. Now, of those 32 microtransaction updates, each one of them had multiple items added in with it. Now, in December alone, we got 11 skins or items added in just with the Fortuna 2 update, along with the Prophet Takeoff fight, which can now be killed inside 80 seconds. So, I mean, there is that. On the flip side of those 21 content updates in 2018, we got either short quests, which were finished inside a day and you wouldn't return to them. We got Kuva Survival, we got Arbitrations and Elite Onslaught, because at the time the community was shouting for end game, so I believe that is why they tried out the Elite Onslaught and the Arbitrations as well. We got new weapons, new Warframes, which, like I said, some of you don't actually count as content, so if you take them out, then that 21 content updates would probably drop down to somewhere around 10. We got Fortuna at the end of the year that had a lot of items in it, but you had to wait the whole year to get them, and Fortuna many see as just being a slightly better, flushed out Plains of Eidolon, kind of a copy paste open world, but one that is much larger, and it kind of makes the whole map feel empty or barren. Now, the quests we got throughout 2018, I don't think any of us can disagree with the fact that Digital Extremes make really good quests. The Sacrifice quest was really good, and even the Chimera prologue was fucking top notch as well. But like I said, they were short-lived content, and 2019 will see those quests hopefully expanded on further with maybe the introduction of the Tau system and hopefully getting to fight or kill Mama Lotus. Now, Plaguestar did return twice, Neja got an incredible buff, Vauban got laughed at, Weapons got a complete overhaul which slightly shifted the meta, we got the Pyrus project as well as multiple new augment mods and of course the login changes as well, not to mention new Warframes and new weapons. We also got pointless additions into the game as well, like Frame Fighter. It's a nice idea, but it wasn't really touched upon. They added it into the game and just left it in a terrible state and never returned to it. So why bother putting any time into developing something if you're just going to leave it in a really bad state? K-Drives, for me, was another pointless addition. Like, the whole run-up to Fortuna was all about hyping K-Drives. And they're still bugged right now for earning mastery. I think if you bought the ones out of the store for Platinum when the update first dropped. And Arcwing still gets you from point A to point B much faster. So, and arbitrations were added into the game and left kind of not really touched upon, as were the onslaught modes as well, with a lot of players really not happy with the types of rewards you get. And with arbitrations, the fact that they increased the time between each rounds from 5 minutes or 5 waves to 10 means you're not really getting value for running those missions, which means a lot of people don't run them because of that fact. And the fact that they added in the drones, which is kind of an artificial difficulty, it kind of just makes it more of a pain in the arse. Now, I'm sure loads of you love arbitration, so I'm not fucking having a go at arbitrations. I just feel like they could have developed them a little bit better. Now, Tennogen last year kind of felt like it was being pushed as actual content. A lot of the time it was shown off on the dev streams to kind of hype up the player base in order to try, I guess, and sell more of these Tennogen skins. And a lot of the community, I feel, see them as actual content when it really shouldn't be the case. Prime Access isn't content. Scott said that on the stream that he joined me on Twitch. The devs themselves don't see the primes as actual content, so I'd imagine the unvaultings are not looked at as actual content either. But from a business standpoint, and let's remember that they are a business after all, Warframe is booming, with their owners Lei Yu announcing that they made record amounts of revenue between June 2017 and June 2018. There was a 77% revenue gain due to their flagship game, Warframe. So Warframe is earning them all of this money through these microtransactions, and I'm sure next year's report will be just as good, if not better. So millions and millions are being earned off the things that you guys buy. Now, because of this, Warframe was one of the top 10 sold games on Steam last year, which is crazy because it is a free-to-play game, but because of all of those microtransactions that you guys bought, it put them into the top 10 and it outsold most AAA titles. Now, of course, they need to make money. They're a business after all, and they need to keep the lights on and they need to keep everyone employed, and this hopefully will set DE up for the future to hopefully pump back into developing Warframe, but also the possibility of developing different game titles as well. So business is good. But for content last year, it definitely felt very barren, and I'm just hoping, maybe like a lot of you guys, that 2019 will be better, because this year we have a lot of really good games coming out. Last year we didn't. Cyberpunk, Metro Exodus, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, The Division 2, Anthem, Ghosts, I know, but it's EA, Ghosts of Tsushima, The Last of Us 2, and maybe even Code Vein later on toward the end of the year. Plus many more great games that are coming out that I just can't remember off the top of my head. Now, share your thoughts below in the comment section what you thought of 2018. Like I said, the shift in actual content driven updates and monetized updates was quite significant this year. It's not major, but it is quite significant compared to previous years, and I'm just hoping that 2019 doesn't follow the same trend and that they don't put all of their eggs into one basket towards a huge update at the end of the year. And maybe if they elaborate a little bit more on content that they actually drop into the game, like the Kuva survivals, like the arbitrations, and of course like the Sanctuary Onslaught as well, maybe evolve them a little bit more. Hell, even the Kingpin system, it might be a sustainable content that would keep us, I guess, playing the game that little bit longer. Because right now, I believe most players, if you're not a new player, most players in Warframe log in and then log back out. So the Steam charts are kind of falsely boosted up because it's not taking into account how many people are actually constantly playing the game. So you log in, you do your dailies, then you log straight back out and you play a different game. So do me a huge favour, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.